Hello, welcome to the Learn English Lab.
Hi there.
Today we're diving deep into a really fascinating segment of C1 level English vocabulary, specifically words that begin with the letter D.
Yes, quite a few useful ones in there.
Our aim isn't just to give you the dictionary definition, though. We want to really explore the subtle shades of meaning, how these words function grammatically, and, when you might actually hear or use them.
Right. Moving beyond just the basics to understand the nuances. It's key at this level.
Think of this as your insider's guide to mastering some pretty sophisticated English terms. All right, let's get started.
Sounds good. Let's jump in.
Okay, let's kick off with damn. Now, the first image that probably comes to mind is, a big barrier holding back water, right?
Yeah, like the Hoover Dam, something like that, a physical structure.
Exactly, and that's spot on. It's a noun for that physical structure controlling water flow. For instance, the heavy rains put pressure on the dam's structural integrity.
Makes sense.
But dam also works as a verb, and this is where it gets quite interesting, I think. It can mean to block or restrain something, and not just water.
Ah. Okay, so metaphorically.
Yes. Consider emotions. We might say, despite her sadness, she tried to dam the flow of tears. It's about holding back a powerful force,
Right, obstructing something powerful, whether it's literal water or figurative tears. That's a great point about how the core idea extends.
It is, isn't it? That kind of concrete to abstract shift is something you see a lot with advanced vocabulary.
Absolutely. Recognizing those patterns really helps build intuition.
Moving on to damaging. This seems pretty straightforward, maybe. Causing harm.
You'd think so, but it has broad applications too. Obviously, physical harm, like the oil spill, had a damaging impact on the marine ecosystem. That's clear.
Sure, but it also applies to less tangible negative effects, right?
Exactly. Think about reputation or trust. You could say the spread of misinformation online can be incredibly damaging to public trust.
That's a really good example. So it's not just physical stuff. It can be harm to relationships, ideas, public perception.
All those. It's about understanding that wider scope of negative impact.
Good point. Okay, next is dawn. As a noun, it's the start of the day, that lovely first light. They set out before dawn to catch the sunrise. Simple enough.
The literal meaning, yeah. But the verb.
Right, the verb dawn takes on a more metaphorical sense. It means to begin to be understood or realized.
Yeah.
That aha moment.
Okay, like it suddenly dawned on me.
Exactly. After weeks of confusion, it finally dawned on him what had happened. It's like understanding is slowly lighting up, just like the actual dawn.
That's a nice parallel. The figurative meaning mirroring the literal one. Advanced learners should definitely watch for those kinds of connections.
Then we have debris. That's D-E-B-R-I-S. It's a noun.
Right. Debris. It usually refers to scattered fragments, often after something destructive has happened.
Yeah, like following the explosion, the streets were littered with debris. It makes you think of broken bits scattered around.
It does. Aftermath. And interestingly, we even use it for space debris, don't we? Those bits of old satellites and rockets up there.
That's true. So it's not just earthly destruction, it's the remnants, the scattered pieces.
Correct. It implies disarray, the leftovers from some event.
Okay, next. Debut. Noun and verb again. D-E-B-U-T.
Debut. The first public appearance.
Yeah, exactly. Like an actor's debut performance or a band's debut album. Their debut single quickly climbed the charts.
It marks that initial entry into the public eye. There's a sense of novelty, maybe anticipation.
Definitely. It's not just an appearance, it's the first one in that context, which gives it a special significance.
A specific kind of beginning. Got it.
Now let's look at decision-making. As a noun.
The process, right. Choosing between options.
Yes. Effective decision-making is a crucial skill for any manager. It's fundamental in so many areas. Business, personal life.
And it's complex. It's not just logic. Psychology, emotion, they all play a part.
That's a really interesting point. It's not just a simple A or B choice.
Yeah.
It's the whole process behind it.
Right. It draws on lots of different fields.
And closely linked is the adjective decisive. D-E-C-I-S-I-V-E.
Okay, so if decision-making is the process, decisive describes.
It describes something that settles an issue firmly, conclusively, like the evidence presented was decisive in proving their innocence. It ended the debate.
So a decisive factor or a decisive victory, it puts an end to uncertainty.
Exactly. Or it can describe a person who acts with determination, without hesitation. In a crisis, it's essential for leaders to be decisive.
Okay, so it relates to both outcomes and people's characteristics. That's useful. The process versus the quality of the result or action.
Good way to put it. Next up, declaration, N-O-U-N.
A formal statement, usually quite public.
Yes, very much so. A formal or explicit statement. Think of historical things like a Declaration of Independence, or in business, the company issued a declaration of its new environmental policy.
Making something officially known.
Right. But it can be personal too, though still quite formal or significant. Like her heartfelt declaration of support meant a great deal to him.
So the key is that it's a deliberate, often public announcement. It carries weight.
Absolutely. It's not just a casual comment.
Got it.
Let's move to dedicated, an adjective this time.
Dedicated, meaning devoted, committed.
Yes. Devoted to a purpose or a person. He's a dedicated volunteer at the animal shelter. It implies commitment, loyalty.
Or you might have, say, a dedicated phone line for customer support.
Exactly. That's another common use, meaning it's set aside just for that purpose, like a dedicated research team.
So focused, committed, set apart for a specific role.
That covers it well. And the noun form is simply dedication.
Right, the quality of being dedicated.
Yep. Her dedication to her studies paid off with excellent grades. Or you see it in books, a touching dedication at the beginning of a novel.
So the adjective describes someone or something, and the noun is the abstract quality itself. Commitment.
Nicely summarized. Okay, next word. Deed. D-E-E-D.
Okay, this one has a couple of meanings, doesn't it?
It does. First, it can mean an intentional action, something someone does. Usually we specify if it's good or bad. Her kind deed helped the elderly neighbor immensely. Or, he regretted his foolish deed.
An action, something done. Got it. What's the other meaning?
It's a legal document, specifically one related to owning property, like a house or land.
The deed to the house.
Exactly. Before the sale is finalized, the signing of the deed must take place. So, very different meanings.
Context is definitely key there. An action versus a legal paper.
Absolutely. Then we have the verb deem. D-E-E-M.
Deem. That sounds a bit formal, like consider or judge.
It is more formal, yes. It means to regard or consider something in a particular way, often with a sense of judgment or authority. The evidence was deemed insufficient to proceed with the case.
Oh, core. The actions were deemed inappropriate. It implies a formal assessment.
Often, yes. The new policy was deemed necessary by the board. There's a weight to it.
Right. A considered judgment.
Let's look at default, noun and verb again.
Default. I know this from computers, the default settings.
Yep, that's one big meaning, especially as a noun in technology, the preset options. But there's another major meaning, often financial.
Like defaulting on a loan, failing to pay.
Exactly. As a noun, loan default. As a verb, to default on a payment. It means failing to fulfill an obligation.
So failure to meet an obligation,
Yeah.
or the standard setting. Interesting how one word covers both.
It is. The link might be the idea of falling back to a basic state or failing to meet a standard, but yeah, distinct uses.
You have to rely on context again.
Always. Next is defect, noun and verb.
Defect. As a noun, it's like a flaw, right? An imperfection.
Yes. A structural defect was discovered in the bridge, or a manufacturing defect in a product.
Okay, and the verb to defect.
That's quite different. It means to abandon one's country or cause, often to join an opposing one. During the war, several soldiers chose to defect to the other side.
Okay. So completely different. The noun is a flaw in a thing. The verb is an act of abandoning loyalty.
Precisely. Very distinct meanings and connotations.
It's good to keep those separate.
Then we have the adjective defensive.
Defensive, like protecting yourself.
It can be literal protection, yes. The country adopted defensive military strategies, protecting against attack.
Okay. But people could be defensive too, right? When they feel criticized.
Exactly. That's the other main meaning. Someone who reacts quickly to protect their ego or justify their position when they feel attacked or criticized. He became quite defensive when his work was criticized.
So physical protection or emotional Lego protection.
That's the common thread. Protection.
Makes sense.
Our next word is deficiency. A noun.
Deficiency. A lack of something.
Yes, a lack or shortage of something necessary. We often hear it in health contexts like vitamin deficiency.
Or like a deficiency in funding for a school.
Perfect example. It points to something essential being missing or insufficient.
A shortfall of something needed.
Right, and closely related is deficit, another noun.
Deficit. I associate that strongly with finance, like the budget deficit.
That's its most common use, yes. A shortfall, especially where the amount spent is more than the amount received. But it can be used more broadly too.
How so?
You might hear about a deficit in trust or a skills deficit. It still means a shortfall or lack, but applied to more abstract concepts.
Ah, okay. So while both mean lack, deficit often feels more measurable, especially financially.
That's a good way to think about it, yeah. Deficiency feels more like lacking a necessary quality or element. Deficit often implies a numerical shortfall.
Helpful distinction.
Now, the verb defy, D-E-F-Y.
To resist.
To go against.
Yes. To openly resist or refuse to obey authority or an expectation, they chose to defy the new regulations.
Or you might say something defies explanation, or it defies the odds.
Exactly. Her incredible recovery defied all medical predictions. It means to challenge or go against what's expected or seems possible. There's a strong sense of challenge there.
A sense of confrontation, almost.
Yes. Okay, let's tackle delegate. Verb and noun.
As verb, to delegate tasks. Give work to someone else. Yep.
A good leader knows how to delegate effectively. Assigning responsibility.
And as a noun.
A person who is chosen or elected to represent others. A representative. Our company sent a delegate to the International Trade Fair.
So the act of assigning or the person assigned chosen.
Right, and building on that.
It's just delegation.
You got it. The noun delegation can mean a group of delegates. The trade delegation met with government officials.
Okay, a group of representatives.
Or it can mean the act or process of delegating tasks. Effective delegation requires clear communication.
So the group or the process. Again, context.
Always context. Next adjective.
The
Delicate. Easily broken, fragile.
That's the primary meaning. The antique vase is very delicate. Needs careful handling.
Like delicate fabric, too.
Sure. But it can also refer to situations or issues that are sensitive and need careful handling. The negotiations are at a delicate stage.
Ah, so requiring tact and carefulness, whether it's a physical object or a tricky situation.
Exactly. Fragility or sensitivity requiring care. Then we have demon. D-E-M-O-N.
Okay, literally an evil spirit.
Yes. According to legend, the old house was haunted by a demon. But how else do we use it?
Metaphorically. Like personal demons. Inner struggles.
Precisely. He fought his personal demons for many years. It represents those internal struggles, addictions, deep-seated problems that are hard to overcome.
Like being tormented by something internal rather than external.
Good analogy. Next is denial, a noun.
Refusing to accept reality.
Yes, the refusal to accept the truth or reality of something, often because it's unpleasant. She was in denial about the severity of the problem.
We hear in psychology, but also in other contexts.
Oh, yes. Like a government issuing a strong denial of any wrongdoing. It's rejecting an accusation or a fact.
So refusing to acknowledge something, whether it's personal or public.
Right. It can be a defense mechanism.
Okay. The verb denounce.
Denounce. This is quite strong. It means to publicly condemn something or someone.
Publicly criticize. Strongly. Like in politics or ethics.
Exactly. Human rights organizations denounced the government's actions. It's a formal and forceful expression of disapproval.
You wouldn't denounce someone for, like, forgetting your birthday. It's for serious matters.
Generally, yes. It implies strong moral judgment and public condemnation.
Right. Got it.
Let's look at dense adjective.
Dense. Like tightly packed together.
Wow.
A dense forest.
That's one meaning, yes. Physically compact, hard to get through. But what about a dense academic article?
Meaning difficult to understand. Lots of complex ideas packed in.
Exactly. So hard to penetrate, either physically or intellectually.
That makes sense. The common idea is being packed tightly.
And the noun form is density.
Right. The degree of compactness, like population density.
Perfect. The city has a high population density, or the density of a material. It's about how much stuff is packed into a given space or volume.
Quantifying that compactness.
Our next noun is dependence.
Dependence, relying on something or someone.
Yes, the state of relying on or being controlled by someone or something else. It can be economic. The region has a strong dependence on agriculture.
Or personal, like young children have natural dependence on their caregivers.
Exactly. Or even dependence on a substance. It highlights that relationship of reliance.
Needing something external for support or function.
Well put. Now, the verb depict. D-E-P-I-C-T.
To show or represent, like in a painting or a book.
Yes. To represent by drawing, painting, or other art forms, or to describe in words. The artist tried to depict the feeling of loneliness in her painting.
Or a novel might depict life in the 19th century.
Right. It's about portrayal representation.
Okay.
Next verb, deploy.
Deploy, often used in a military context. Deploying troops.
Very common there, yes. To move troops or equipment into position for military action. The Navy deployed ships to the area.
But does it have other uses?
It does. It's increasingly used in business and technology. You can deploy resources, deploy software, deploy a new strategy. It means to bring resources into effective action, to position them strategically.
Oh, okay. So strategic positioning or activation of resources.
That's a good general definition. And the noun is?
Deployment.
Right. The act of deploying. The successful deployment of the new system took months of planning. It's the action or process.
The implementation phase. Gotcha.
The verb deprive. D-E-P-R-I-V-E.
To take something away from someone, something they need.
Exactly. To prevent someone from having or using something essential or desired. Lack of sleep can deprive you of concentration.
Or regimes might deprive citizens of their rights.
Yes. It often implies taking away something important, sometimes unfairly. There's a sense of loss or lack caused by an external action.
Right. Withholding something necessary.
Next is deputy, a noun.
Like a deputy sheriff or deputy mayor, someone second in command.
That's precisely it. A person appointed or elected to act as a substitute for another, or who is second in command. The school principal was away, so the deputy principal addressed the assembly.
Someone who can act on behalf of the person in charge.
Correct. They hold delegated authority.
Okay.
The verb descend.
To go down, move downwards.
Yes, physically. The plane began its descent to the airport, or climbers descend a mountain.
But it can be metaphorical too, right? Like a situation descending into chaos.
Absolutely. It implies a movement downwards, whether literal or a decline into a worse state.
A downward progression.
And the noun form is descent, D-E-S-C-E-N-T.
So the act of going down, the steep descent, was challenging for the hikers.
That's one meaning, but it also means origin or ancestry. She is of Irish descent.
Ah, lineage. Okay, so downward movement or ancestry. Two distinct meanings again.
Yes, need to watch the context.
Always.
The verb designate, D-E-S-I-G-N-A-T-E.
To officially assign or appoint.
Correct. To officially assign a specified role or purpose to someone or something. This area has been designated as a wildlife reserve.
Or you might designate someone to lead a project.
Exactly. It implies a formal act of naming or setting something apart for a particular use or role.
An official assignment.
The adjective desirable.
Worth having. Wanted.
Yes. Worth having or seeking, attractive or wanted. Good communication skills are highly desirable in most professions.
Or a desirable location for a house. It indicates something positive and sought after.
That's it. A valued quality or feature.
Okay.
We have desktop, noun, and adjective.
Like a desktop computer. The type that sits on your desk, not a laptop.
That's the main noun, meaning yes. I prefer a desktop computer for gaming.
And as an adjective.
Relating to work done at a desk, or relating to the computer screen's background interface, or even desktop publishing, it's strongly tied to that fixed personal computer context.
Right. Pretty common term in tech.
The adjective destructive.
Causing damage. Great harm.
Yes, causing great and irreparable harm or damage. The wildfire had a devastating and destructive impact on the forest.
So stronger than just damaging. Implies ruin.
Often, yes. It's just as high level of harm.
Okay.
The verb detain, D-E-T-A-I-N.
To hold someone. Keep them somewhere.
Yes, to keep someone from proceeding, hold back. Often officially, like in custody. Customs officials may detain travelers suspected of carrying prohibited items.
Or police might detain a suspect for questioning.
Yeah.
Involves restricting freedom of movement.
Usually by some authority, yes.
Got it.
And the noun detection.
Finding something. Discovering something hidden.
Exactly. The action or process of identifying the presence of something concealed. Advances in technology have improved the early detection of many diseases.
Or detection of hidden microphones. Or detection of errors in code.
Right. It often involves investigation or specific tools to find something not obvious.
The process of finding.
And relatedly, detention, noun.
The state of being detained. Being held.
Yes. The state of being held in custody or confinement. Students caught cheating may face detention after school, or someone might be held in detention awaiting trial.
So detain is the action. Detention is the state of being held.
Good way to distinguish them.
Okay.
The verb deteriorate.
To get worse. decline in quality.
Precisely, to become progressively worse. The old building continued to deteriorate over the winter.
It can apply to health, relationships, materials, conditions.
Yes, quite broadly. It signifies a decline over time.
A worsening process.
Now the verb devastate.
Also quite strong, like destroy or overwhelm.
Yes, to cause severe and overwhelming shock or grief, or to destroy or ruin something. The tsunami devastated coastal communities.
So it can be physical destruction or extreme emotional pain. He was devastated by the news.
Exactly, a profound negative impact, physical or emotional.
Very strong word.
Devil, similar to demon.
Yeah, often used interchangeably in the literal sense of a supernatural evil being, but also metaphorically.
Yes, metaphorically for wickedness, mischief, or sometimes just emphasizing something difficult, like the devil's in the details.
Right, represents evil or great difficulty.
The verb devise, D-E-V-I-S-E.
To plan or invent something carefully.
Yes, to plan or invent a complex procedure, system, or mechanism by careful thought. The team had to devise a new strategy to overcome the challenge.
It implies cleverness, ingenuity.
Often, yes. Careful thought and creativity in planning or creating something.
Okay.
The verb diagnose.
To identify a problem, usually medical.
That's the most common context, yes. To identify the nature of an illness or other problem by examination of the symptoms. The doctor diagnosed the illness as pneumonia.
You could diagnose a problem with a car engine, too.
Absolutely. The mechanic was able to diagnose the engine trouble quickly. It's about identifying the nature of a problem through analysis.
The identification process.
And diagnosis is the noun.
The result of diagnosing.
Yeah.
Identification itself. The diagnosis was confirmed by tests.
Exactly. The process and the resulting identification.
Got it.
Dictate. Verb and noun.
As a verb, like saying words aloud for someone to write down.
That's one meaning, yes. But another C1 meaning is to state or order authoritatively. The rules dictate that protective gear must be worn.
Like laying down the law, controlling or determining something.
Right. And as a noun, a dictate can be an order or principle that must be obeyed. They follow the dictates of their conscience.
A guiding principle or a command. It has that sense of authority.
It does, which leads naturally to dictator.
A ruler with total power, usually obtained by force, not democratically.
Exactly. A ruler who wields absolute authority, often oppressively.
A specific type of authoritarian ruler.
The verb differentiate.
To tell the difference between things, or make something different.
Primarily to recognize or ascertain what makes something different. To distinguish. It's important to differentiate between correlation and causation.
To identify the differences. Crucial for clear thinking.
Yes. Or it can mean to make something different or specialized.
Okay. Distinguishing.
Dignity. Noun.
The state or quality of being worthy of honor or respect. Self-respect.
Yes. Treating people with dignity. Maintaining one's dignity. It's about inherent worth and respectful bearing.
A fundamental human quality.
Indeed. Now, dilemma.
A tricky situation. A difficult choice.
Specifically, a situation where you have to choose between two or more alternatives, and typically all of them are undesirable. A difficult choice.
A catch-22 sometimes. No good options.
Often, yes. It presents a real problem with no easy solution.
Okay, a tough choice.
Dimension noun.
Like length, width, height, measurements.
That's one meaning, a measurable extent, but also a feature or aspect of something. We need to consider the social dimension of this problem.
So a particular facet or aspect, like looking at something from a different angle.
Exactly. It allows discussing different parts or aspects of a complex issue.
Makes sense.
The verb diminish.
To lessen, reduce.
Yes, to make or become less in size, importance, or value. The crowd gradually diminished as the rain started, or his influence has diminished over the years.
A decrease, often gradual.
Right. Okay, dip. Verb and noun.
As a verb, to put something into a liquid briefly, like dipping a biscuit in tea.
Yes. Or to slope downwards. The road dips sharply here, as a noun.
A brief downward movement. The stock prices took a slight dip this morning? Or the sauce you dip things into? Would you like some vegetable sticks with the dip?
Exactly. Quite versatile. Context tells you if it's a downward move, a quick plunge, or food.
Lots of meanings there.
Diplomat. Noun.
Someone who represents their country abroad. Works in an embassy.
That's the primary meaning, yes. An official engaged in diplomacy, but we also use it more informally.
For someone who's very tactful, good at handling sensitive situations.
Yes. Someone skilled in dealing with people sensitively and effectively. She's a real diplomat. She managed to resolve the argument peacefully.
Requires skill and tact, whether officially or personally.
And that leads to the adjective diplomatic.
Relating to diplomacy.
Yeah.
Or being tactful and sensitive.
Both. Diplomatic relations between the countries improved, or he gave a very diplomatic answer to the awkward question.
Tactful, sensitive, skilled in managing relations.
Good summary. Directory. Noun.
A list. Like a phone directory or website directory.
Exactly. A book or online resource listing individuals or organizations alphabetically or thematically with details like addresses and phone numbers. It provides organized information.
An informationalist.
Straightforward.
Disastrous, adjective.
Extremely bad, causing disaster.
Yes, causing great damage or harm. Highly unsuccessful. The economic policies of the past decade have had disastrous consequences.
Very negative, implies widespread bad effects.
Indeed. Much stronger than just bad.
Okay.
The verb discard.
Throw away, get rid of.
Yes. To get rid of something is no longer useful or desirable, please discard any expired food items.
To dispose of.
Right. And speaking of disposal, the verb discharge.
Discharge. This has a few meanings too, doesn't it? Like being released from hospital. Yes, that's one. To allow someone to leave a place, especially a hospital or the armed forces. Patients are usually discharged within a few days.
Or to discharge duties, fulfill them.
That too. And also to allow a substance like liquid, gas, or electricity to flow out. The factory was fined for illegally discharging pollutants into the river.
Okay, so release from a place, fulfill a duty, or release a substance. Context again.
Very much so. Medical, military, legal, environmental contexts.
Got it.
To disclose, verb.
Reveal something, make it known. Often something secret.
Yes. To make secret or new information known. The whistleblower decided to disclose the evidence to the authorities.
Or companies have to disclose financial information. It's about revealing it was hidden or private.
That's the core idea. And disclosure is the noun, the act of revealing.
Make sense?
Discourse. Noun, sometimes verb.
Formal discussion. Written or spoken communication or debate.
Exactly. Often used for serious or academic discussion. The academic discourse on climate change is constantly evolving. It implies a structured exchange of ideas.
More formal than just conversation.
Generally, yes. Discretion. Noun.
This has two meanings too, right? Like freedom to choose.
Yes. The freedom to decide what should be done in a particular situation. The judge has the discretion to impose a lighter sentence. Power to decide.
And the other meaning, being careful about what you say.
Right. Behaving or speaking in such a way as to avoid causing offense or revealing private information. Tactfulness. It's important to exercise discretion when discussing personal matters.
So freedom to decide or careful, tactful behavior.
Precisely. Discrimination. Noun.
Unfair treatment based on prejudice, like racial or gender discrimination.
That's the most common and socially important meaning today, yes. Unjust treatment of different categories of people. Laws have been enacted to prevent discrimination based on race or gender.
But doesn't it also mean just recognizing differences?
It does have that older, more neutral meaning. The ability to recognize fine distinctions, good judgment or taste. He has a fine sense of discrimination when it comes to art. But you have to be careful as the negative meaning is so dominant now.
Yeah, the negative meaning is definitely the first one that springs to mind. Good to know both, though.
Dismissal. Noun.
Being fired from a job.
That's one key meaning, yes. The act of ordering or allowing someone to leave, sending someone away, especially from employment. His unexpected dismissal came as a shock to everyone.
Does it also mean rejecting an idea?
It does, treating something as unworthy of serious consideration. The committee gave the proposal a quick dismissal.
So removal from a job or rejection of an idea.
Correct. To displace, verb.
To force someone or something out of its usual place.
Yes. To take over the place, position, or role of someone or something often implies forced movement. The rising floodwaters displaced thousands of residents.
Or one technology might displace an older one.
Good example. It involves movement, often involuntary, from a position. Forcing out.
Disposal. Noun.
Getting rid of something. Waste disposal.
Exactly. The action or process of throwing away or getting rid of things. Proper waste disposal is essential for public health.
The act of getting rid of.
And the verb is dispose.
Yeah.
Usually used with of.
Right, to dispose of something.
Yeah.
Be sure to dispose of batteries properly.
Correct. Dispose of is the standard phrase.
Got it.
Dispute. Noun and verb.
A disagreement. An argument.
Yes, as a noun, a disagreement or argument. There is an ongoing dispute between the two companies. As a verb.
To argue about something, or question if it's true or valid.
Both. They decided to dispute the charges on the bill. To question or challenge it, or simply to argue.
Disagreement, or the act of disagreeing, challenging.
That's it. To disrupt. Verb.
To interrupt, cause disorder.
Yes. To interrupt an event, activity, or process by causing a disturbance or problem. The heavy snowfall disrupted travel plans across the region.
We hear about disruptive technologies too that shake up an industry. That's a very common use now. Interrupting the normal flow or order.
Causing disorder.
And disruption is the noun.
The interruption or disturbance itself. The power outage caused a major disruption to business operations.
Exactly. The state of being disrupted or the thing causing it.
Okay.
To dissolve. Verb.
Like sugar dissolving in water, mixing into a liquid.
That's one meaning, yes. To become incorporated into a liquid so as to form a solution, but also
to end something, like dissolve a partnership or a marriage.
Exactly. To close down or dismiss an official assembly or formal arrangement, the partnership decided to dissolve their business.
Physical mixing or legal formal ending.
Right. Distinction. Noun.
A difference.
Yes, a difference or contrast between similar things or people. There's a clear distinction between these two concepts. What's the other meaning?
Excellence. Like winning an award with distinction. A mark of honor.
Perfect. Excellence that sets someone or something apart. She received the award with great distinction.
So a difference or a mark of excellence, honor.
Correct. And the adjective is distinctive.
Meaning having a special quality. Standing out.
Yes, characteristic of one person or thing, and so serving to distinguish it from others. The bird has a very distinctive song. Makes it easily recognizable.
Recognizably different.
To distort. Verb.
To twist out of shape. Misrepresent.
Both. To pull or twist out of shape. The heat distorted the plastic. Or to give a misleading account or impression of something. The media report distorted the facts.
Altering the true form or meaning.
Yes. Distress. Noun and verb.
Noun. Extreme anxiety, sorrow, or pain. Suffering.
Yes. The survivors showed clear signs of distress as a verb.
To cause that feeling. The news caused widespread distress.
Exactly. Both the state of suffering and the act of causing it.
Okay. Strong emotion.
Disturbing.
Adjective.
Causing worry or anxiety. Unsettling.
Yes. Making someone feel worried or upset. The news reports were deeply disturbing.
Something that causes unease or discomfort.
Right. To divert. Verb.
Change direction. Reroute. Yes. Cause someone or something to change course or turn from one direction to another. Traffic was diverted due to the road closure.
Or divert attention. Draw it away from something.
Exactly. The politician tried to divert attention from the scandal, redirecting focus or path.
Changing course.
Divine. Adjective, sometimes verb.
Adjective. Relating to God or a God. Sacred.
Yes. Many believe in a divine power, heavenly, godlike. As a verb, it's less common.
To guess. Like divining for water. Or just intuitive guessing.
Right. To discover by guesswork or intuition. Some people seem to have a divine intuition, using it more like an adjective there, but the verb to divine means to guess intuitively.
Sacred or intuitive insight.
Doctrine. Noun.
A belief or set of beliefs held in talk by a church, political party, or other group.
Precisely. The political party adheres to a specific set of doctrines, a formal set of teachings or principles.
Core beliefs of a group.
Documentation. Noun.
Official documents. Paperwork.
Yes. Material that provides official information or evidence or that serves as a record. Please ensure you have all the necessary documentation for your visa application. Written proof or records.
Okay. Official papers.
Domain.
An area. Like an area of knowledge or control.
That's a key meaning. Quantum physics is a complex domain of study. A sphere of knowledge, influence, or activity. What about on the internet?
The domain name. Like .com or .org, the end part of a web address.
Exactly. So an area of control knowledge or a part of an internet address.
Sphere of influence or web location.
Dominance. Noun.
Being dominant power or influence over others.
Yes. The state of having power and influence over others. The company has achieved market dominance in its sector. Superiority, control.
Being the most powerful or important.
Donor. Noun.
Someone who gives something. Like blood donor, organ donor, or donating money.
All of those. Someone who donates something, especially money to a fund or charity or a part of the body for transplantation. The museum relies heavily on donations from generous donors.
A gift. Dose. Noun and verb.
Noun. A quantity of medicine taken at one time.
Yes. The doctor prescribed a low dose of the medication, a specific amount, as a verb.
To give a dose, the nurse will dose the patient at regular intervals.
Correct. The amount, or the act of giving the amount, requires careful measurement.
Measured amount.
To drain, verb and noun.
A verb remove liquid. The bathtub needs to drain.
Yes. Or cause liquid to drain away, also to deplete resources.
Ah, right. The prolonged economic crisis has drained the country's resources. Use up energy or resources.
Exactly. And as a noun.
The pipe or channel for draining, like a kitchen drain.
Yep. So removing liquid, depleting resources, or the thing that removes the liquid.
Okay, versatile.
To drift.
Verb and noun.
Verb. Be carried slowly by water or air. Float. The boat drifted out to sea.
Yes. Moving without direction or control. What about opinions or situations drifting?
Like a gradual change. Social attitudes are gradually drifting towards greater acceptance. A slow, undirected shift.
Nicely put. And the noun drift can be that slow movement or the general meaning of something.
Slow movement or gradual change.
Driving. Adjective.
Not driving a car, but like a driving force, motivating.
Exactly. Having a compelling or controlling influence, determining a strong sense of purpose is a driving force in her life.
Or a driving rein. Forceful.
Yes, strong and forceful. So motivating or forceful.
Okay. Propelling something forward.
To drown. Verb.
To die by suffocation in water.
That's the literal tragic meaning, yes. Tragically, several people drowned in the flood, but metaphorically.
Like being overwhelmed, drowning in paperwork, drowning in sorrow.
Exactly. To be overwhelmed by too much of something.
Literal death by water or feeling overwhelmed.
Dual. Adjective.
Having two parts, two aspects.
Yes. Consisting of two parts, elements, or aspects. The system has a dual purpose or dual nationality.
Twofold.
To dub. Verb.
To give something or someone a name or nickname, the fans decided to dub him the Rocket.
That's one meaning. What about in films?
Changing the soundtrack. Replacing the original language with a translation. The foreign film was dubbed into English.
Exactly. So naming or replacing audio language.
Two key uses.
Dumb. Adjective. Now, be careful with this one.
Right. It can mean unable to speak, which is an older, sometimes offensive term. We usually say nonverbal, or specify the reason now.
Good point. The other meaning, lacking intelligence, is very informal and definitely can be offensive.
Yeah. Best to avoid that informal meaning in most situations. It's considered rude.
Agreed. Use with caution or not at all, especially the unintelligent meaning.
Okay. And finally, duo, noun.
A pair. Usually performers, yes. A pair of people or things, especially in music or entertainment. The musical duo impressed the audience with their harmonies. Two working together.
A pair. Simple enough.
Well, we have certainly explored a significant portion of C1 vocabulary, starting with D today. Quite a list.
We definitely covered a lot of ground, from dams to duos.
Hopefully this deep dive has not only clarified the meanings, but also shown just how versatile these words are in English.
Yes, understanding those nuances really is key to using the language with more precision at an advanced level.
Recognizing these subtleties will genuinely empower you, we hope, to express yourselves with greater confidence. Keep an ear out for these words when you're reading and listening.
And don't be afraid to try using them in your own speaking and writing. That's how they really stick.
Absolutely. This exploration is, just the beginning. There's always more to uncover in the captivating world of vocabulary.
Always more to learn.
So if you found this exploration valuable, please do like, share, and subscribe to this YouTube channel for more language learning insights.
It helps others find the channel too. Thanks for joining us.
Yes, thanks for listening.